Okay, very good afternoon. First of all, thank you, Ted, for giving us the opportunity, especially me, the opportunity to come here and share my life experiences. Well, I come from a real estate background. I've spent close to 2 decades working in the real estate industry. Now, real estate happened in my life with loads and loads of interest. I remember my days when I was growing up. I used to see the buildings, the land, the spaces, and I always used to feel very excited when I used to see some great buildings, some great structures, like whenever I used to travel abroad or like in the metropolitan cities, or maybe somewhere for a vacation and I'm living in a resort. And that's where I actually developed my keen interest for moving ahead in real estate for my career. And it happened. When I finished my education from Scotland, I came back particularly to be a part of a real estate industry, just out of that fascination that I had developed in my very, very younger age. And when I joined real estate, it was in the year around 2008. And at that time, real estate, particularly in Indian market and that too in the northern region of India, it was booming. There I realized that real estate is like the most important need of every individual. Everybody who wants to, after they have developed career, they have started making money, the first thing they want to have is a better house, a better real estate for themselves. Maybe a bigger house, a new house in a better location, in a better locality, but they want to upgrade. And that's where I realized that the demand is already there. It's easy to sell real estate than any other asset, because that's the most important thing. रोटी कपड़ा और मकान, तो रोटी और कपड़ा के बाद मकान आता है. And I was amazed to see people the way they buy real estate nowadays. Any person you talk about, they're gonna save a lot of their money and they're gonna put maximum amount of their money in real estate in some or the other way. Well, I got an opportunity to manage more than 1.5 lakh apartments so far in my career. And that gave me a confidence that how real estate is managed. Just not by knowing what real estate is, as I said, land, spaces, and building. It is more about connections. It is more about fulfilling a dream. It is more about getting that excitement of achieving that milestone in our life, that yes, I got my own real estate. I got my own property. Now I am living in my own home. That is an emotion. But the way I started my journey, the way I used to see my journey, and the way I was experiencing it, it wasn't the same way. Soon after, I realized that the number of properties that we were selling, 30% of those properties weren't getting delivered. Can you imagine those people who have spent their life savings on investing in a real estate? They were not getting their houses. They were living in a rented accommodation. At the same time, they were paying for their EMIs for the house that they were hoping that one day they will get their house. Maybe 2 years from now, they will get their own house. 3 years from now, when the entire building will get constructed, they will get the possession of their own house, which they didn't. And trust me, there are still a lot of buyers who are waiting for their house to get delivered, and it's been more than 10 years. Where is that money? Where are those houses? What is happening to those feelings? What are those expectations? The life has changed. A lot of people have gone out of this world feeling one day they will get their house. And I'm talking about those who really invested their, maybe gratuity or maybe retirement money. They don't exist between us anymore. And they are still waiting for their houses. And that is where my interest actually started to develop about what I can do, how I can contribute to this industry, which requires fairness, which requires trust, which requires people coming up with that sort of honesty, not just from the development point of sight, not just from the buyers or the sellers point of sight, but there is one element in the industry which a lot of people miss to talk about, which is brokers. Everybody understands the role of a broker Everybody knows that how important it is to have a broker around you to buy a property, to search for a property, to rent for a property, whatever you may require. There is a broker who gives you that advisory, who gives you that consultancy, who gives you that information about, where you can invest, what you can invest, who are the best developers, which are the best locations, what is the future of the area that you are investing in, or what is the background of a developer. Just imagine, there are plenty of them outside. And I realized that this particular gap can only be filled when we have got educated brokers coming up to us and approaching us. Nowadays, just imagine when you go to search for a property, you are going for a site visit. You know what happens? Do you find brokers? They literally jump in front of your cars. Excuse me, sir, are you looking for a property? With the pamphlets in their hands. Sir, I've got something. Let me show you. Sir, 2 BHK देख रहे हो? Sir, 3 BHK देख रहे हो? Sir, shop देख रहे हो? Sir, office देख रहे हो? They literally jump on your car. And imagine today the average property cost is 1 CR per room. If you want to go ahead and buy a property which has a 3 BHK apartment, the average ticket size is 3 crores. And the kind of an experience that you get when you buy that sort of a property, just compare it with a situation where you are going to a BMW showroom and you are investing 3 crore rupees to buy a car. What is the level of experience you get? I think we are still miles away to have that sort of a experience in real estate. Well, any which ways, with that I will try to give you one example what actually moved my heart. So there was one family who was first time investing in real estate, and we were showing them future. One of the broker was showing that family a future. Now that family came from a very, very humble background. They had some AC repair business and they were buying just a 1 BHK apartment. There was definitely a strong need for them to have a better living, and they thought that whatever dream that developer and a real estate broker was showing them was for their better living, was for the better living of their son. They wanted to give a good amenities to their son, to his and her son, so that they can have a better future, they can develop better skills, they can live around better society, there are better neighbors, there are better schools, there is better connectivity and all of that. And it was just a land parcel which that broker was showing it to that family, and there was some artistic images on that land parcel which showed that the house is going to look like this. And that impression actually gave such an impact on his son that next day he sent me a picture of the painting that his son has made, imagining that he's going to be living in that kind of a house. He'll be cycling in those that compound which is full of lush green lawns and a lot of trees. There is a cycle track, there is a basketball court, there is a tennis court. That kid really imagined much more than what the actual buyer was imagining. He made that painting, and imagine his father sent me that picture that we are so emotionally connected with the briefing that your broker gave it to us. We really want to invest in this property, and he eventually invested. And it's been 10 years now, my dear friends. That property is not yet delivered. And that person, he has put in all his life saving in that. That's where my role comes in the picture, wherein I realize that this is the gap. How can I just make sure that the feelings can be protected? What can I do with all the experience and the time that I've spent in real estate? What little bit that I can contribute? I'm not worried about contributing in large. I'm focusing on whatever I can do. I'm gonna give my 1 lakh% to contribute into it, because I'm deeply, madly in love with this industry. And I want that every possible thing that can shape the industry in the most professional way should be done. Therefore, I built up my organization called It's For You Private Limited. Initially, the first generation product that we made was basically the CRM, because I realized that the technology is the solution. With technology, I can educate people, I can give them the right content, they can actually track the meetings, the leads, the bookings, and all sort that we can think of. A true CRM. In those days, nobody was talking about CRM. And a lot of people used to say that real estate brokers, I mean, these guys are not going to follow the CRM route. They are not very comfortable by using the technology. They're happy managing their customers on the diaries that they have. But I knew the technology was the solution, at least at that level. There is a lot more that I want to do, but at that stage, I knew technology is the solution. I went amongst them and I realized I built the CRM which was identical to their terminologies that they were using in the normal way of interaction. We built that. And there was a time, at that time, as I always used to manifest that this is a gap, this is a solution, this is a gap, this is a solution. It is going to be the best solution. I know what I am doing. With very minimalistic resources, I built that organization. And I saved for 5-6 years because I was going on with this turmoil and this feeling of mistrust with the real estate buyers for quite some time. So I saved for that because I knew that I'm chasing a dream. I'm not chasing any competition. This is what I want to do. I want to fill up that gap. And when I started exactly 4 years from then, because I started manifesting also, one day this CRM is going to be the India's #1 CRM. I truly believe in the power of manifestation. I believe like that. I start to feel like that. I start to operate in that way. And one fine day, in my meeting with my teammates, I said that this CRM is not just the CRM which we're going to do it as just like a startup, maybe reaching up in one single area, location, or maybe a city. This is going to cross the boundaries. And exactly 1.5 years back, which is like 4 years from where I started the journey, we were taken over by Times of India Group, which is Magicbricks. And today, when I went to them, I had close to 2,000 users. And today, there are more than 1 lakh users. And I'm talking about 1 lakh brokers. 1 lakh real estate agents are using that CRM. That's the highest amongst all the property solutions that are available in the country. Now that just is not, I cannot give that credit to me, myself. It is completely the credit of my team who could actually help me and support me to get this thing to this stage and this platform. And because of them, I'm here. But once I finished that CRM journey, I realized that it is not the only end. There is a lot more that I have to do in order to shape up the initial dream, wherein that trust can be gained, the real estate brokerage can be uplifted. We decided to build up another product which is purely on real estate education. So you must have heard about MBA in marketing, MBA in finance, MBA in HR. I always used to think that why there is no specialization in real estate environment. There are, I'm not saying. With all due respect, there are few institutions who are doing this, but they are very limited. And I must tell you that there is a big requirement for the real estate agents, professional real estate agents who should come and join the real estate environment and give the genuine advisory. And how is that going to happen when there is going to be some movement in the education side of the trade? And that's where now I'm standing here and I'm trying to build up a real estate education system with legitimate modules, the modules that can contribute to the overall growth of the real estate agent professionally. RERA isn't enough. There is a lot which is required. There is a lot of information which probably a real estate agent should have before he can give that information with confidence to the end user. But imagine, is that still enough? That is one segment of the property, which is, let's say, around 1 CR, 2 CR, 3 CR. What are we doing for the people who want to invest more than 15 CR, 20 CR, 50 CR? The size of real estate agent in our country squeezes down drastically. There are not many people who are dealing with that sort of ticket size. And here comes my another vertical, which is It's For You Reality. Now what it does, we have selected some great properties by doing our due diligence from the developer's end, from all the legal stand, and we have ensured that those properties are available with us so that we can pitch it with honesty, with confidence, with trust to the buyers who really want to invest in that sort of ticket frame. And not just the projects, the entire team, as It's For You, have scaled up their standards. Because let me tell you, the kind of a standard that we want to give it back to the agency world or maybe the brokerage sector, we first thought that it is better for us to kind of have that within our own organization. And that's what we did. And that's how we are improvising and enhancing and walking towards, rather rushing towards, creating that finesse in the real estate transactions. Coming towards the end of my conversation here, there is one small connect that I realized. While I was talking about brokerage, I saw that this brokerage challenge is not just limited to real estate. The similar miscommitments and mistrust is happening in insurance as well. It's happening in car as well, car trading as well. It's happening in travel as well. It's there in stock exchanges as well. So we decided to build up a separate product which is called Broker App. Now currently it is live. We have got more than 10,000 users in that application. But that actually worked as a collaboration platform for all these brokers to interact with each other. There is a way through which a broker can be verified. He can actually list his portfolio. He can explain about his profile. He can make sure that the people who are viewing him, they know about what a broker does, about his experience, the number of years that he has spent in the industry, and so on. It gave a lot of confidence to the end user. Now technically, a customer can actually get onto the application, look for a broker, choose a skill of a broker, and then think of making a connect instead of getting bombarded with 10,000 calls from the brokers. But all I want to say here is, although my journey started from real estate, I learned from the problems of a broker. I learned from the problems of definitely the end user. And I picked up the brokerage segment of the overall industry to ensure that how the broker can actually fit in the gap and make sure that the overall experience of an end user enhances. I must say, lot of things have improved. There is a lot of enhancement has happened within the developer side and obviously to secure the interest of the buyer. But I think there is a lot yet to be done on the brokerage segment. And that is where we are coming in here and giving our best shot to make sure that, that sector lifts up and eventually enhances the overall experience of the end user. I'm here with all my confidence and with all my experience, all the support of my team members, representing It's For You Private Limited, and we believe that we're going to cross boundaries and we're going to make some great contribution in the vision that we have just shared with you. Thank you so much. This is Akshay Seth.